Welcome back, folks, for another exciting DuckmanCycles VW Garage. Behind me here is a 1968 Volkswagen Beetle. And this thing, oh my god, it's kicking my ass. Down below here, we replaced both heater channels on this thing over the last couple weeks. We've also done the floor pans on it. You can see right over here. So I'm just about to the point where there's not much rust left. Ha! Or so I thought. Look at that! We gotta work on the package tray area. That means that this package tray that you see right on down here needs to somehow go in there. And this one is not in very good shape at all. So we're gonna have a look at that, give it a poke, and find out exactly what it's gonna take to get out of there and what it's gonna take to get the new component put in place. But before we do any of that, please likey, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle belly so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for all my different social media links, and we'll be back right after that intro. Alright, looking at this part first, it's not just a stamped piece of sheet metal. It actually has a reinforcement on the back of it. This is where the engine seal would normally go in, the top one. So this might have to be separated because I think this portion of the original car is actually in good shape. Let's find out. See, that's where the seal would go, right in here. So I think this is fine. Looks good on this side. I mean, I don't see any rust holes at all. I don't see anything that's even showing itself as having any surface rust even. Going back around the inside here. See if I can do this without breaking my neck again, smashing my knee. My knee is still a mess, by the way, guys. Alright, here's our package tray area. There's that part I told you about. Yeah, it's got a little surface rust on it. It's got a lot of, wow, it looks like, I thought it was undercoating, but it's like clay. Guess I need to clean that off. This piece, as you saw, kind of caved in during the intro. Psst, my big ass hand hit the stop button. Alright, where were we? Oh yeah, this thing was falling apart. It's only held in by the one side over here. This whole top, see, it's starting to develop a crack through the rust up here from the last time that I picked this up. Okay. Well, from the last time that I picked it up, just to get some photos to send off to the owner. Alright, well, that was easy. Demolition. Half done. Got some more, well, I thought this was a seam sealer, but it looks like there's some metal on the back of it. Well, that's out. I gotta cut this off yet. I think what we're gonna do now that I get a really good look at this, yeah, this is just like dirt. I'll just clean all that off. I don't see any rust in this panel at all. A lot of dirt under here. I guess we'll see when we get to this point, but the only rust that I see in the top side of this is right here, in these holes that are going through. This side actually looks pretty good, but what I might just do, because if I cut a line through here, you're going to see it in the engine compartment, although when you put your engine in, your tar boards and everything, you're probably not going to see it at all, and of course this side gets covered with cardboard typically. This is going to be a race car though, so I don't know how much carpet or tar boards and stuff is going to go in it. I haven't asked. And the way I build things, I try to hide my work, so that way, you know, if I did make an ugly weld or you got metal that's overlapping, you don't see it. So I think what we might do is I might just cut up through here, and then somewhere across here, cut across, and then cut on down. Now this part is way up behind the louvers, so this you'll never see it. It's tucked up way up there. I think you don't start seeing this until about 2 or so inches down. So if I cut it right about here, it should be fine. The top of this, it's got surface rust on it, but it's not falling apart in any way. Looks like there is a couple of pinholes down here that go into this area. These tend to get full of water if the weep holes don't do what they're supposed to and the water finds its way over the top and into here. And it doesn't look like it did. Well, maybe it did. There's a little rust there. This looks like glue and rust. This is all glue, by the way, guys. This is mostly not rust. This is like carpet glue. This stuff was always yellowish brown in these Volkswagens. So, well, there is a little bit of rust here. It's, like I said, mostly carpet glue. Yeah, so I think that's what we'll do. We'll cut it around, and that gives me a flange too, and you're going to love this. We're going to try to panel bond this sucker in. 100% panel bond, no welds. If I do that, it should make it nice and easy to clean up. So that way all I have to do is sand the edges where a little bit of the panel bond is sticking out, no welds to grind, no seam sealer to put in because panel bond is also a seam sealer. So it should take care of all that in one fell swoop and save me just a ton of time just on the grinding. And I told the owner too I wouldn't bill him anything extra for this if it's as easy as doing that. If I gotta weld it though, we're gonna have to talk about numbers, but yeah, this thing, that'd be kind of neat if it was a door that opened that way, isn't it? Hey, you got me thinking. Just as a courtesy here, here's a look at Eleanor's contraption that I built in the back. You can see right there it has a bus engine compartment door, or the hell hole as they call it, from a late model bus. I grafted that into the top of it so that way I can get to the starter, as well as the inside of the brakes, shock absorbers. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can reach with that hatch. So one of those extra things that I put in there to make the car a whole lot easier to work on. This car won't be getting it though. Anyway, okay. Well, I guess we're going to need that Sawzall. Oh, no, it's not a Sawzall. It's not made by Milwaukee. It's a DeWaltZall. Because it's made by DeWalt, right? Yeah. So anyway, we're going to cut this out. Start there first. Get this crap out of the way. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Got the wrong battery. This is the one that my Sawzall doesn't like. DeWaltZall. Sorry. Said the wrong thing again. All right, I got the right one this time. And it even has a full charge on it. Look at that. Whoa. Alright, here we go. This is likely going to just crumble right through. I said, there wasn't enough metal there to even cut. There it is. I took the bolts out already and I shoved them in the new panel so that way I know where they are. That's interesting. I wonder what that's for. Looked like it was a ground connection for something. Interesting. That's news to me. I did a little tin snipping through here because this had a big old flappy piece. I think this is what's remaining of the old package tray. I probably should chisel it out. It looks like most of it is already disconnected up here. I'm going to have to peel off all this old seam sealer and also get out all the old tar boards that are in here because that's going to be in the way. That panel probably is an exact fit to fit in here. An exact fit. Made in Taiwan, exact fit. I guess we're going to see how close it gets. But this is going to take an eighth of an inch away from each side. Likewise over on the other side, that padding that's here. So all this is going to have to come out because otherwise, I don't know if it'll drop right in. It probably won't. So I'm going to have to do what I can to... Oh, well, okay, coming off the sheets. Do what I can to get rid of it, and I got a feeling we're going to find some rust underneath it too. There's probably going to be more repairs that I'm going to have to do up underneath here. In fact, yeah, I see a hole right here. So anyway, we'll pick all this crap out of here. This is not fun, not very eventful. All we're doing is scraping off trash. And actually, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Volkswagen usually attaches that stuff pretty well and doesn't want to come off. Either that or I'm using the right tool. This is actually my chicken shit scraper. That's what I use for cleaning their cage out. When you put panel bond in, it must be clean metal to clean metal. You can't be sticking to some old panel bond or some old seam sealer or to rust or even to paint, because it'll only be as strong as the weakest bond. Probably gonna wire wheel the rest of it off. This is doing a really good job. Yeah, this is doing a great job. my air chisel probably would take it right out even faster than this, but look at that. That wasn't even ever welded in to begin with. It's kind of interesting. Alright. Yeah, look at this. Just get it right in there. This is rusty. This has to come out. This is part of the old package tray still here. I might have to get out the air chisel. I don't know how else I'm going to get these welds to separate without drilling out each individual weld. Well, I'll see what I can do with that. I'm going to bend it back and forth a few times first. I'm going to move the camera out of the way so I've got leverage, and we'll be right back. Alright, well, here's what we got. The vast majority of the metal that was on here just peeled right off. You can see it's a little mashed up because I pretty much just grabbed it and unzipped it. Took a few shots with a hammer and a chisel. Air chisel would have been easier, but again, my compressor is on the fritz for the moment, but they got the job done. On the other side, we did the same thing. Pulled out some more metal, just like that, and we discovered another rust hole. So, we're not done fixing rust holes yet. That's fun. And then, of course, we have this one down below, which we knew about, so I still have to cut a piece out for that. Looks like I need to cut a piece for there, too. And over on the other side, we have the same rust hole down here at the bottom. It also needs to be addressed. This one's smaller than the one on the other side. Ironically, this is the corner that had the worst rust, but higher up here, it wasn't as bad. Gotta fix that. And then, up at the top here, this corner opened up. That was all rusty. That was not an issue before, but as I started digging around, it turned out that was really soft and crumbly. So, it's gone now. And on all the way across here, this is all solid. So what I need to do is I need to cut this out and then try to separate this metal from this part, because this is the part we want to keep in the car. This is what's going to keep the car square. It's going to give me something to play off of. I suppose I could rip it out on either end. I don't know. I'm going to dig around it a little bit. I'll pull this panel out first. If this wants to come out easy, I'll just replace it all at once. If it doesn't want to come out, well, I guess it's staying. But I don't see any reason that this should be a problem. There's no rust in that at all. I mean, a little on the surface over there, but as I've been poking at it, it's really not been an issue. So, we might just leave that one alone. Alright, well, guess I'm going to get the saw out and start cutting up through here, up to about this spot, all the way across. I'm also going to cut across the bottom here, which might even just crumble apart. So I got a feeling a little moisture got in the welds. When they get in the welds, then the welds just kind of separate, they pop. So, digging time. Duckman, you should be wearing gloves. Yeah, and I also shouldn't use sandpaper when I wipe. But you know, I do a lot of things I'm not supposed to do. Alright, that's coming up. I think we're going to cut it, and I was thinking through here, I think I should go a little higher than that. Kind of up at the top here, right about where it makes that curve to come down. And that will eliminate all this rusty shit. And it looks like this entire thing is coming out on this side. That would be great to just have the whole thing come right out. I'm actually making a lot more cuts than I think I need to. I'm probably butchering this thing. But you know what? I don't care, because this is kind of an experiment. I haven't actually cut one of these completely out before. Eleanor's, I did do a lot of work on that. There was a lot of modifications. But the donor piece was actually intact. But I ended up cutting out, I think, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches out of this. and the firewall, it didn't even match up anymore because of the way the roof slid. Anyway, pretty complicated when you start modifying a car versus what we're doing here. We're trying to put it back to stock. All right, well, I'm gonna run a cut across the top. I might even get it with the Sawzall if I can. I don't know if it'll go through there without catching something. Yeah, it might do it. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. Kick it back, baby! Kick it! Oh. Why is it not going all the way through? There's nothing inside. Yes! Alright, look at that. Now the engine has ram air cooling. Hell, I could fart directly in the fan if I wanted to. But that would be warm air, Duckman. You should know better. Alright. I'm going to trim this back a little further. That was just a rough cut so I could get in there to get a good look at what's behind it. Yeah, everything under here is pretty intact. That's good. Now, would you look at that? Okay, this started peeling out. So if it's going to come out that easily, then there's no reason I would want to bond to it. There's an awful lot of seam sealer in here. Still needs to go away. I got to clean that up. Over on this side, a lot of that metal already came out. Started to peel away. It's just a little piece of it is still remaining. And actually, this panel. It's actually not from the tray. The tray is gone all the way up to here. So, yeah, it's completely gone already. There's not much to clean out on that side. So, in other words, had I have tried to glue to that anyway, it would have just fallen out. That was not attached. And down below where I put the putty knife through it before, all those welds were shut. So that's all gone. And this was the debate. Do I need to remove this or not? Actually, it's pretty well attached in there. There's really no reason for me to fuck with that. I still might anyway, but I don't see any reason that I should have to. Because that's actually in good shape. But I do have to separate and clean this, and then I have to clean up the backside of the other one to get it off of there. Maybe I just cut it out. Might be a whole lot easier. Like I said, this is still pretty well attached, but if the buttons do start to unzip on that side like they do on the other, that might just come right out. That might just come right out. Okay, well, I don't want to take too much more out of there because this actually might be like a guitar string being pulled taut right now. This body might, boing, pop open. I don't know. If it does, I mean, cosmetically, it's really not going to affect too much, and I don't think it's going to screw up an alignment of our heater channels or any of that, because this is taut like a guitar string. Wow, actually, you know what? That's tighter than it was before. Removing that stuff really did make a change. This is... it is taut like a guitar string. Oh, okay, well, that's all our tension is right there. So the rear end did open up. It did spread a little bit. I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem because I think the new panel that's going to go in there, I can get clamps around the bottom of it. I can put the panel bond on it, clamp it, and pull the body back together. And if I need to use a come-along or something, I could attach come-along to these points under here and pull the body back together. Or some ratchet straps. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So, well, anyway, I like what we got going on here. This is not a panel I've ever removed before. I haven't done one of these on a Beetle ever. I've only ever patched them, or in the case of Eleanor, hacked one. But, yeah, I can make this work. I think this is going to be good. It looks like this had pop-outs at one point. You see the rust pattern around where they were. Interesting. All right, well, let's keep cleaning up in here. I'm going to unzip that first and get this garbage out the way. Well, I wish I had that on video. I grabbed it in the middle, which is why you can see it's just kind of bent and twisted. And when I pulled on it, it not only kinked in the middle, but it unzipped all the welds on that side, all the welds on this side. The only place it was hung up was right here where it attaches to these little rear shelves that run alongside the engine. And it took a little bit of effort to get that out, but that ended up breaking off all by itself. So, yeah, I was quite a surprise that it just ripped right out. So, while originally I thought that would have been a good idea to leave it, if it came out that easy, that ain't no good for nobody. So, that's where it's going. Okay, I'm going to clean up in here just a little bit, And then we're going to take that panel and we're going to drop it right in here and see how it fits. Now, I know it's not going to fit in the top here. I'm actually going to have to cut a little lip off the back of it just to kind of get it hooked over that. I still need to do some trimming on that, but none of that is going to be in our way. We're just going to literally drop the panel over and see if it fits in this opening. I still have rust holes and stuff I got to fix too, but again, just a dry fit. Let's see what happens in here. Look at all this dirt in this car. It's falling out of everywhere. When I swept up the ground earlier, I think I had about 20 pounds of rusty dirt that was rounded up from this car. Everything that just fell out as I've been hammering on it. Look at this stuff. It's everywhere. It's just everywhere. Yuck. Ugh. All right, well, here we go. Well, I trimmed that right off the back of that, so we won't be needing that anymore. And that should give us a little bit of a hook to hang over the top of the existing firewall inside the Beetle. All right, quick word of advice for anybody that wants to attempt to do this kind of work, and this may be my first time, but I will guarantee you that I'm correct when I say this, and that's, don't even bother trying to do this job without the body off the car, up on a dolly like this. There's no way in hell I would have been able to do this. This is a terrible fit. This is a fucking terrible fit. Okay. This is just a god awful fit. This is terrible, terrible. Okay. Wow, okay. I might have to contort it a little bit to even get it in here. Does say made in Taiwan on it. Oh my god. Alright. Where's my hammer? I'm gonna start smashing some shit. Here we go. Here we go. Trying again. Well, did any better at all? Kinda going in. Kinda. Looks like it's too long on this side. Alright, it's going in now. Ow! Fuck, that hurt. Ow, son of a bitch, that hurt. Ooh! That left me with a ding mark, too. I didn't see the bolt sticking out of here, and it hit the bone in my wrist on it. Didn't hardly break the skin, or did it even break the skin? No, I don't think it did. Ooh, that hurt. Alright, I need a wooden block in here. Wooden block. Oh, 2 wooden blocks. Because, put one up here. Good luck getting it back out, Duckman. Duckman! Well, it's almost in there. Up here, or down here I should say, it's actually a pretty decent fit. And it does cover up most of the rust hole here, but that's not going to matter because it needs a place for it to attach. And if it doesn't have any metal there, it could be any good anyway. Well, this is trying to go in. Still got a couple inches of down in the back anyway. Up front it's where it belongs. Alright, let's go look around the other side and see what we see. Alright folks, this is the reason why it won't go down. These pieces should be in front of these little shelves, and it's going down on top of the shelves. So the whole thing needs to go up a little bit. Those need to be pushed forwards, and then the whole panel will probably drop down. I might even be able to... Yeah, actually, I might be able to just bork them into place and get the whole panel moved. I'm going to grab that block of wood and I'm going to hit them. I don't want to mess my wrists up anymore because what I did was pretty stupid. And let's see if we get this panel to drop in. It almost fits. It's actually not too bad. All right, it is in. And it's a bad fit. It's a really bad fit. Right through here, it's not too bad, really. All things considering, it's functional. Up through here, though, the panel is just entirely too big. Now, too big is usually a good thing, but in this case, if you're trying to put too big of a panel into too tight of a place, you got to cut some stuff off, and this is something you don't want to cut because it has a flanged edge. If you cut off the flanged edge, then things don't fit right. Anyway, it took a lot of force and a lot of beating to get this thing in there, and you see there's some light gaps in here because I had to mash it quite a bit. I'm going to mash it back where it belongs with a hammer once I get it properly seated. This right now is just a test fit only. Right in through here, this is bad. It's not even close down here. I will clamp that all together. I may or may not use panel bond on there, I don't know yet. Panel bond for sure, across the top. Panel bond maybe on the bottom, maybe right along this lip, if I can get this all to tighten down the way it belongs. No panel bond through here. And maybe panel bond through here because this lays in there pretty good. The reason why no panel bond in here is because when I drop this panel in, if I have panel bond in there, it's just going to go everywhere. It's just going to make a mess. It'll be all over the car instead of where it actually belongs. So what I'm going to have to do is panel bond in this area, weld in through here, weld in up here. I probably could get panel bond in there and hammer it over, but I have no way to clamp it. So I think it's probably just going to be better to just beat it into position, tack it with a couple dozen welds on each side, just the same way Volkswagen would have done it. Tack it all the way across here, put some clamps on this with the panel bond in it, hold it down overnight. All the weight on this is going to pull this, it's shaped like my hand, it's just a big hook over the top. So panel bond, a bead right through there, we'll hold that together so no welding in there is necessary at all. And then this thing should be working out. But it's the end of the day right now, and that means I'm going to be knocking off. I've spent way too much time on this thing today. You got to do that right next to me while I'm working. Always right next to me. Why you go somewhere, Peanut? And you're actually the good one. Why are you bothering me today? So anyways, yeah, there it is. Good news, we've made some progress. Very happy about that. But I'll see you guys in the morning.
The following day.
My friends, we are back. And why am I in the garage tent? Because we have two new adoptees. Look at that. These little guys were unfortunately abandoned by a friend of mine's son. He couldn't take them with, had to find a place for him to go. So they're now at the Duckman's residence. That I would imagine is a pekin, and it's anybody's guess what that one is. That one has a lot of the colorings like a wild mallard has, although granted, they are mallards to begin with. If you didn't know that, most ducks, except for Muscovies, are all mallards, kind of like all dogs are wolves. I see that, you found a buggy. So anyway, I just gave them some food and some water. They just arrived here, minutes ago. So I'm going to let them do their thing, and we're going to get back to work. All right, here we are. Rust hole, rust hole, rust hole. And that was a second rust hole on top of it. I ended up cutting it just a big piece out of it. So I got to fill these openings in here. Meanwhile, you might remember how rusty this area was, all these hard-to-reach areas. I've since wire brushed them, treated them with acid, and I'll be doing it again, but nearly all the rust is gone already. So that'll put it in a good spot that I can throw some paint on it, because, they're not easy spots to get to, as I said before. Still got to trim away a little more rust here and there, this kind of crap. Just get in behind it, clean it up, and, start filling in some patch panels. And then we should be able to drop this sucker in finally, hopefully before the sun goes down tonight. Cross your fingers, right?
Thousands of tears later.
I have been in here all day, patching in those holes. And you can see there's a blue piece because that was actually a piece of the old firewall. It was good metal, so it went right in there. There's a piece down below there, which is actually a piece of one of the patch panels. This one, as a matter of fact, there was some extra metal on the end that we weren't going to use, so it became that patch. And then this one over here, that color might look mighty familiar, and that's because that patch panel actually is an original piece of metal from Triple E herself. It was one of her original doors, which is currently way over there behind that washing machine top that you see. They see the green there in the center of the screen. Anyways, it was good metal, so I said, well, why don't we just use it in here, because I'm running out of metal, and, well, that's plenty good. So we're just about in a spot where I'm ready to start grinding these welds down. Everything looks a little wet because I did treat it with some phosphoric acid, and I'm still treating this rust in here, which is, as you see, disappearing. So I'm going to get that to a point where I can coat it with some paint. I do need to still grind up in here. I still need to cut off some of this rusty metal that's not attached to anything anymore. This is some of the old stuff. This is the new metal has already patched that up. So that stuff is just, it's like an earlobe. It's just hanging there. It's got no purpose. So just cut it right off of there. That one's already off. I just clean up the edge on it, make that go away. Let me show you the outside. Oh, before we go outside, there's one little pinhole that showed up from me wire brushing, so I'm probably going to put the copper spoon on the other side and see if I can just tack that shut. Otherwise, I probably should have cut this panel up even higher and made a bigger patch. On the outside, though, hope I don't break my ass getting out. Successful. There's the outer corner. This was an absolute disaster because there's this reinforcement panel that's under here, as well as the body panel itself, part of the sail panel that's up here. This whole thing is just one big quarter panel. It had separated, and a piece of it actually just broke off, and then the hole went through, which is the size of two of my fists. A little shorter than that, but just about as wide. So, cut all that away, rebuilt it all. Again, I still need to go back and grind it. Then in here, it was that lower section that I patched in. I went and welded up the whole bottom where all these panels meet together, which includes these rear wings. It's right here. The heater channel, as well as the sail panel, quarter panel, patch panel, and anything else that I put in there. They all meet together in there. So I made sure everything was all welded together. Still needs to be ground down, still mighty rough. But I had to get a lot of material up in there to make sure that I got all the different layers, because there's no way you can clamp them together. You can't. So the only way to fix that was to get a little zealous with the weld wire and kind of fill up the area. So anyway, I think it's going to be just fine. It looks great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it looking from either the inside nor the outside. And this is going to be covered with a fender. You're never going to see it anyway. But like Earl, I'm going to make it beautiful, and then this will all be covered with carpet or whatever you got here. So again, you're never going to see it. So we're good over there. The other side, however, this is the problem corner. This is the one I still need to do an awful lot of cutting. And you can see the Eleanor patch panel here. I'm going to go over the welds on the outside like I did on the other side, the same here. There's that pinhole I was talking about. It actually looks like there's two little ones too. We'll make sure we get that. And then down below here is where this heater channel, the wing, some of this metal is just misshapen. That's the way it came from the factory for these patch panels. And then I have to repair this whole section here, which is rusted out. Anything that goes up underneath. So where this all comes together right in here all needs to be fixed. So I still got some work cut out for me, and I'm almost to the point, however, if I just go over this with the grinder for about 15-20 minutes and get these welds flat, I should be able to drop in that panel right there, the new firewall, package tray, all that, one fell swoop. I still need to trim this up too, because you see it's a little longer on that side than the other. I just freehand cut it without making a mark. So I'll get in there with a straight edge and straighten it up, polish the top of it so panel bond will bond to it, and prepare this whole area for that thing to go in. But we're almost to that point. Almost. We are getting close. All right, I hear the roosters screaming on the inside, and I think it's about time for them to come out and play. So that means I got to bring the girls in, wherever the hell they're at. Oh no! Just thought of something. These little babies can't be there with the roosters coming out. The roosters will destroy these little guys. So, yeah. Okay, I need to address that before I do anything else. And they're not hardly touching their food. They're drinking their water, though. They're probably just a little scared because they're in a place that they're not familiar with. They don't really love me yet. Not yet. I need to give them more attention. They need to get to know me. This one's a lot more content than the other. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to come up with names for them soon. I let names happen organically, so I have not chosen any names. Whatever is the first thing I end up calling them as a nickname is usually what their name turns out to be. All right, well, take a break here for a minute and try to let the birds out. Cycle them all around and figure out who's going where. I gotta figure out where the chicken girls went. They're somewhere over here, I'm sure. Chicken girls, I see one of them. She's inside here. Oh, they're both in there. Well, I can't close the door on this because it parallelogrammed itself. Actually, it trapezoided itself. I still need to fix this. This thing is in some sorry shape, and I've been collecting metal from around the yard because I got all the pipes and everything to fix it. It'll probably take me an hour, but it's one of those hours I just need to find so I can do it. And there's the little baby shits. Right, baby shits? And that shadow there, that dark colored one, she is a sweetheart. Just loves to snuggle with me at night. All right, let me get back to work. Okay, for the most part, we got a lot of this ground off. This is all nice and smooth now where the patches were at. A little rough spot here. That's actually going to get covered, so I'm not too worried about it. Other side, same thing. Kind of got some of this ground down. I'm going to polish it down a little bit more on this side, try to get some more of the paint off, because the panel bond, I believe, is going to go here. I'm going to take this panel, shove it in here one more time, and then make a line around it so I can figure out how far back I need to clear off the stuff for panel bond. Some of it's going to get welded, so I don't have to have it for panel bond, you know, such a big gap, just thin spot wherever the welds are going to go. Started to grind up in here because that's where the weld is going to go, and then across the top here because that's what's going to stick our panel bond. I've also cut that off nice and even. Well, even enough. It's going to be up in a way where nobody's ever going to see it. This is the last time it's probably going to be seen in our lifetimes. You know, just a heads up on that one. Okay, I guess the deck goes in next, and then we'll see where we land. Here we go. This might be a little easier because now it's not getting caught on any of the rusty lips and stuff, so. There we go. Not quite in. It's almost there. Well, that side went in. This side doesn't want to go in for some reason. It's probably hung up underneath. I'll have a look. Well, it turned out it was in. I just needed to push on it just a little bit harder, and in she goes. Anyways, I put a couple of clamps on it while the camera was down, and then I made a couple of scratch marks along here where this edge is going to come up to. And this is just a terrible fit on here. I'm going to have to find some more of these clamps around the house somewhere, because this needs to all be clamped down, because this entire edge here is going to be panel bonded. So that means I need to clean the paint off of both this and this, so that way the panel bond will be stronger than the paint of which it's stuck to, because it's only as strong as the weakest link. Anyways, yeah, this sucker is seated. Well, I guess it needs to go down a little bit more. Not much, though. I'm going to put about 100 pounds of sand on it tonight, too, after we get that panel bond in there, and then Probably in the morning is when I'll finish up the welds around here, because it's going to be panel bonded across the top, panel bonded across the bottom, and up around these sides. And then in here I'm going to have to weld it. I don't think I can get panel bonded there. Maybe I can, I don't know. I guess I could always try to, you know what, I could do that. I could spread it open, put the panel bond in it, and then hit it with a hammer, so that way it spreads out. That's an option. That is an option. That would certainly save me on a lot of the welds. This corner here is not seated properly. It's not quite in all the way. I guess it needs a little bit of an adjustment. But anyway, I know where my line is, and that's what's important. I need to come out here with the grinder and right there, and take the rest of the paint off all these surfaces. This, the inside, anyway, all that needs to get cleaned up and ground down. And then, sticky time! Alright, my friends, this is panel bond. And this is the very expensive panel bond caulk gun. It's a two-part caulk. It's actually not caulk at all. It's an epoxy, if you will. It slides in here just like that. There we go. We take the little cap off. And there it is. It always smells to me exactly like, what's that crap? That epoxy shit you get. Pretends to be metal. It's not metal. What the hell is that stuff? Why can't I remember the name? Probably because I don't use it. JB Weld. That's the one. It smells just like JB Weld. I wouldn't doubt if it has the same components in it. This stuff, though, it hardens up, I think in like an hour or two. There's two different kinds of panel bond. One hardens a little bit in an hour. The other one hardens a little bit in 2 hours, but both of them cure overnight. And then in here is... This tip doesn't look right. Hang on a second here. Usually inside of these tips, there's a little like, yeah, it looks like something's missing. Usually there's a little like zigzaggy thing inside of here that mixes this, and this doesn't have that for some reason. What if I have a defective tip? Yeah, let me go look and see if I have another one. No, the little thing fell out on the ground. But that's what goes inside of it. It's the little zigzaggy thing. I didn't even realize that they came out. Not supposed to come out, but it was out for some reason. Ah, yes. I want to go in there. There it goes. Boy, with how hard that was to get it in, I don't know how it ever came out. Okay, here we go. Now, if you ever applied caulk before to anything, you know exactly how this works. Yes, make your caulk jokes now, guys. Post them down below. But if you just simply squeeze this, you'll see it'll fill up the little zigzaggy thing on the inside here. Starting to get a little dark out here. I'm going to open up the exposure as bright as it goes. But we're losing light, so this is going to be the last thing we do tonight. And then as soon as it gets to the tip, it squirts out. Pull the trigger, or release button, I should say. And there it is. So now, down below here, you can see where I've made a line where I ground off all the paint. So this is where we're going to lay our panel bond. You don't need a ton of it, but we'll probably end up using up this whole tube on this because this is it's a pretty big panel. I just know that whatever you put in there is going to mash out, so just squish it in. Alright, we'll be back after I'm done playing with my black caulk. Alright, and the pedal goes back in. I hope everything goes in without too much effort because it was sure a fight getting in earlier. I really hate this thing. Every time I go to put it in, it fits differently. Son of a bitch. Motherfucker! These fucking birds are really pissing me off tonight. They all had to come over here while I'm dealing with this, getting aggravated, and then they're going, ah! Right next to me. Like right next to my head. I don't care usually, but when I'm busy working, and they gotta do that shit right next to my head, and I swat them or throw something at them, and they just come right back and do it again. sucks when you love. If they didn't love me so damn much, they wouldn't stay so close. Alright, well, let's get this thing clamped in here before it moves out of sight. I got a bag of Quikrete up here, which is hard as a rock. I don't know how old it is, but it's been sitting in the garage for a number of years. And I think the humidity got to it. No good anymore. Alright. These clamps are awesome. Got them from Dad. Dad had the most vice grips of anybody that I've ever known in my life. And I had a lot of them too, but Dad had collected them because these are real vice grips made in America. These things are as old, at least some of them older than I. And I inherited all of them, so now I have all his and mine. So now I'm the guy with the most vice grips of anybody that I know. Things just, they're everywhere around the house being used for something. Yeah, these are great. These are the long tong ones. Long tong silver. Alright. Go away! Why do you guys gotta do that? Putting this weight on here was definitely the right thing to do. It seated so well. It's so happy right now the way it is. And because the flanges on the side, I hammered them over a little bit, I could squeeze some panel bond in between there and then hammer it back. And hopefully it stays. We're going to find out. That's going to be an experiment. If I screw it up, well, I guess I'm welding over it. But we'll see what happens. Okay. Seeing this clamp is good. This is definitely good. Put one more clamp on here. That one don't fit on there too good. This one's maxed out apparently. See if I can put that in a different spot. Sucks. I'm gonna have to put a block of wood or something. There was a couple of high spots. Now they're not high anymore. And we'll be back. All right, folks. We got the panel bond in there. You can see it shining, just glistening all the way. Squeezing out along all the edges. I managed to get it in the whole way around, and like I said, the best thing to do is actually to bend that flange over, shoot the panel bond in there, and then hammer the flange back the way it belongs. I have a bag of lawn fertilizer up there, and the bag of Quikrete. See, everything's all oozed in nice, and then of course I put that in at the top before I did anything else, and you're an absolute asshole, would you go away? And I think we're going to be good. This is what I wanted to leave it overnight, so we should be in a good spot in the morning. It should be same way as I wake up. Good and hard in the morning. All right, we'll see you then.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the next day. Here's Cheeky out and playing. Spent the day out here just grinding away, cleaning up my welds, seam sealing everything all the way around the perimeter. Also seam sealing in here, all the way around the perimeter of this package tray area. Went all the way around it, except for the bottom here, but this has a seam sealer in it, so this is already airtight. So no worries on that. Those holes belong there. Actually, some bodies do bolt down to the chassis in those locations, right on top of the torsion tube. But this is all come out here now because it's had, I'd say, a good 36 hours. Oh, not 36. What am I saying? It's not been a day and a half. It's been exactly 1 day. Lost track of my days, but this, here it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some paint and cover up all the bare metal that's in here so it all looks presentable, nice and clean. Otherwise, as I said, everything is all seam sealed, everything's all painted, all seam sealed the whole way around. This corner, which was missing, let me show you on the outside. Alright, there's the corner that was gone. You guys might remember a good portion of this was just MIA. So this whole section under here, all the way down to a point over here, has been completely replaced. And the patch panel looked kind of like this one. This is actually the one for the other side. But I cut down about 50% of it because I didn't need to go this high. You can see that was the mark for actually where it was going to go originally, but I brought it way down here. I used a lot of the metal that went up underneath there. So this is all good and solid now. Everything's welded together. Everything's seam sealed. Everything that I worked on has a coat of paint on it. So that way we don't have any flash rusting. Very important. Also, the engine compartment. Look at this. Check it out. Brand new firewall. That was part of the package tray. Section over there attached beautifully. Section on this side did not. There was a huge gap in there and a rust hole that was actually in this little shelf area that I had to replace. So you can see that panel bonded piece, not panel bonded, seam sealed piece that I made for in there to hold it all together. But I welded in the bottoms, I panel bonded the whole top, and well, it's good to go. Let me take those bags out of there because they don't need to be in there anymore. I'm probably just going to throw them away too. Although, that's grass fertilizer. I didn't even know I had that. That might still be good. The Quikrete though, that's like, it's like literally a ball of concrete because it has just, the humidity got it and it dry set. I shouldn't even say dry set, it humidity set it, so it wasn't dry set, but it's shot. I'm going to try to break it up anyway. If it does bust up, I still might be able to use it somewhere, but anyway, let's get it out of there. Well, we got one last look at this thing before it goes. The owner wants to come for it tonight. So anyway, I'm a little hard pressed just getting the last of it all bundled together and ready to go, but this looks great. Check that out. Looks great. It was a little messy with some of the seam sealer, panel bond stuff, but nobody ever cries over that. It's always better to have a little too much than not enough, you know what I mean? But this is, wow. Wow. That has a lot less give to it than Beetle usually does. Yeah, usually it's got a little more give, and that has just none. None. Just everything on here is tight. Good, good. Paint's still drying. I probably shouldn't have touched it. It's not really even tacky anymore, but I think we're good to go. So, you know the drill, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out Duck Shit down there for all my different social media links. Thanks for watching so much, and hopefully we'll be back next week, probably with a front suspension video. So look for it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Alright, there she is back on the body. Look at this, guys. Look at how nice of a fit that was. Everything went on there on the first try, didn't it?
Yeah, on the first try. Just some adjustments.
We had to shimmy it a little bit. One of the corners in the floor pan was a little high, and that corner didn't seat properly on the chassis when I installed it. So 2-3 whacks with a sledgehammer, and it went right in the spot. So good to go after that. And then the other problem we had, something I never encountered before, was the floor pan was actually, well, the seat track on the floor pan was hitting the heater channel because the heater channel flange is too wide on the aftermarket ones. They're not like that stock. So it was a little bit of a conflict. Got in there with an angle grinder, cut it out, and boom, she fit. So there it is. Ready to rock and roll. There he goes. One more happy customer. Ooh, his shock is out. He's being extra careful so he doesn't take the quarter panel off of the 350Z, but he's fine. He got a lot of clearance there. Have a good night! And another one bites dust. And another project comes in tomorrow. Video next week. Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, that's me. Zoomed in. There I am.